Hello, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Happy Sunday to everybody. Happy Sunday to you guys over here in Flip. I do have a question for you today. And that question is, are you burnt out? Are you burnt out? It could be emotional burnout. It could be physically burnt out. You could be burnt out from work. You could be burnt out from relationships. You could be burnt out from other people, from anything. So let me know in the comments below, are you burnt out right now? And if you are burnt out, then in what manner are you burnt out? How are you burnt out? And maybe you're not burnt out right now, but if you're not burnt out right now, I want to ask you, have you ever experienced being burnt out? Let me know in the comments below if you've ever experienced being burnt out. So what do we mean by being burnt out? Well, being burnt out is just that feeling when you are, you're doing something and then all of a sudden you're so tired and you just don't feel like doing it anymore. Like, for example, with work, sometimes you're working so hard and you're really working, you're doing a lot of things, you're very productive, and then one day, you wake up and you say, I don't feel like working anymore. And no matter how hard you try, you just can't get work done. You just don't have the energy to do work. Yeah, I've experienced it several times. You probably have. Let me know once again if you've experienced it. You could also be physically burnt out. You're exercising all the time. Maybe you're playing basketball all the time. Maybe you're lifting boxes all the time, and all of a sudden, you just don't feel like moving. You just can't get up. You could be emotionally burnt out. Maybe you're having, dealing with relationships, dealing with family issues, dealing with friends, and they might have their own issues, and then you just don't want to talk to anybody, right? There's that emotional burnout, or there's spiritual burnout, where you're dealing so much with all the things, and not so in the ministry, in the church, and with all these people. It's more social burnout, but all these other people telling you about their problems, and then you just feel, you don't want to do it, just feel empty. So there are so many different ways that you can be burnt out. And, I remember before, a couple of years back, or even a couple of months back, I was burnt out. I was really doing a lot of work. I was working with clients. I was, teaching students, doing so much work, like for several weeks, for like 4 weeks, all day, just doing work. And I was really doing a lot of work, earning a lot of money. But after that 4 weeks, all of a sudden, I just didn't want to show up. I just didn't want to talk to anybody. I just didn't want to reply to emails anymore. I didn't want to do any kind of work. Didn't want to make sales or things like that. And I just couldn't do it, right? I just couldn't do it anymore. Well, I want to share with you a verse, okay? And from Mark chapter 6, verse 31. Okay, so let me read this here. This is the Message version that I'm reading. So the apostles rendezvoused with Jesus. So the apostles met up with Jesus and reported on all they have done and taught. Jesus said, "Come off by yourselves. Let's take a break and get a little rest." For there was constant coming and going. They didn't even have time to eat. Okay, they didn't even have time to eat. So in this verse here, Jesus was telling his disciples to take a break. Because they were working hard, right? They were working hard. As it said in the verse, there were many comings and goings, meaning there were many things going on. They were doing many things. They were really busy. There were many people coming into their group. This was when the disciples, Jesus had all these thousands of followers, and then the disciples were taking care of them, making sure that they were okay. But yeah, the disciples, they were taking care of the followers. They had many different tasks, many different responsibilities, and they didn't, as it says in the verse, They didn't even have time to eat. They didn't even have time to eat. And so what Jesus told them is to go to a deserted place. And if we're looking at the New King James Version, he tells them to go to a deserted place, to a secluded place, and come rest a while. So he told them to go to a secluded place, a place where, they're alone. There's no family, there's no friends. Because when we're around other people a lot of the times, when we're around family, when we're around friends, we have obligations. We have to talk to other people. We have to make sure everyone's okay. That's why Jesus said, go to a deserted place. So if you're feeling tired, if you're feeling burnt out, the first step that Jesus tells us to do is to go to a deserted place, a secluded place. It could be your room if you have your own room. It could be like a cafe. If the house is too busy, it could be like a coffee shop where there's no one else there. Or maybe you'd even want to take a vacation, a short vacation or staycation by yourself without anyone else around you. And he tells them to take a rest, okay? Rest a while, rest a little while, rest a little while, take a break from the routine. So resting, it doesn't necessarily mean sleeping, because sometimes we sleep and then we wake up and then it's the same thing. We're still feeling burnt out. We're still feeling tired. So it doesn't necessarily mean sleep, but a change in routine. It could be like actually physically resting. It could be mental rest. Maybe you need to do mental rest, like meditation is good mental rest. Could be if you're emotionally burnt out, it could be emotional rest. Maybe you need to just watch some dumb TV shows. Maybe for you it could be playing video games. For some people it's like doing chores, washing dishes. If you're burnt out from dealing with other people and their problems, maybe you can read the Bible. Other people, it's just sitting and doing nothing. Doing nothing and then just rejuvenating, getting that energy back again. And he said, as Jesus said, rest for a while, rest for a little while. Don't rest for a long time. Don't rest for too long. Rest for a little while. That's what he said. So a little while means just enough time for you to recover. Just enough time for you to recover. Not too long. Not too short either. Not too long meaning you're not gonna, because when you rest too long, sometimes you can't. Now you're tired from resting. Have you ever experienced that? You rest for such a long time, you sleep for like 12 hours, and when you wake up, you feel tired because you've been sleeping too much. So if you rest too long, then you lose the energy. You get the energy for resting for a little while, and you rest too long, and you end up losing it. Right? So just for a little while, just enough time for you to recover. Now, just as Jesus reminded his disciples to take breaks, to take a little break every now and then, I find this message really important, that we should take breaks. Because when we work too much, when we don't take breaks, we end up doing bad work. When you try to do so much work, I don't know if you've experienced this, but when you want to work, like if you're working in Upwork and you want to work 100 hours a week, I don't know if that's even possible, but like say 80 hours a week, I've done that, 80 hours a week. Like if you work 8 hours a day, maybe you're still okay, but if you work like 12 hours a day, and by the end of the day, your work is bad. It's not good work anymore. So that's going to reflect on your work. You're going to be producing bad work for your clients. And if you work too hard, you're going to get sick. And when you get sick, you can't do any work, right? You instead of working 40 hours, you work 0 hours a week. You can't get anything done. So instead of spending, when we get sick, instead of spending a few hours to recover, when you get sick, you have to spend days or sometimes even weeks to recover from that physical burnout. So it's really important for you to take breaks. If you're thinking, I don't have time to take breaks, then all the more you need to take a break, because if you don't have time to take breaks, then you're almost burning out already. So from this message, what I understand is that the best way to stay productive, the best way to continue to be able to do good work, to continue to earn, to continue to make money, to continue to do what we love, is to actually take breaks, to just stop working all the time, right? So let me see. I'm having a hard time pulling up the comments here. Facebook updated their app. Oh, there we go. I can see it. I can only see a few comments, just the most recent ones. Good morning. Let me see here. Jasmine, thank you. Good morning. Glyza, good morning. Liberty, good morning. Minnie, Charm, Cookie, good morning. Ori, good morning. They emotionally and physically burnt out, so you got to take that break. AJ, good morning. Marianette, good morning. Nadine, good morning. Rhea, good morning. Charm, everybody needs a break sometimes. Yes, no matter how amazing you are, if you're like somebody like Bo Sanchez, or somebody like Gary Vaynerchuk, or if you're Bill Gates even, you need to take a break. Whoever you are, no matter how amazing you are, everything in moderation. That's right. Or we can't too much work is a bad thing. Like because you won't be able to work afterwards if you do too much work. It's like too much money can also be a bad thing. For you guys that are watching this live, let me know in the comments below. We talked about taking breaks. We talked about taking breaks so that you won't burn out. So let me know in the comments below how you are going to take a break. Tell me, how are you going to take a break? Are you going to go on a vacation? Are you going to watch a movie? Are you going to read a book? Are you going to, what else? Do chores, clean the house? Are you just going to lie in bed? Tell me how you're going to take a break, and tell me when you're going to take that break, okay? Because it's very important. I find that it's very important for all of us to take those breaks. So once again, what I want you to do is tell me, one, how you're going to take the break, what you're going to do to take the break, and number two, when you're going to take that break. It could be today, it could be tomorrow, it could be a few days from now, but I want you to make that commitment to just take that break. All right, guys, don't burn out. Take a break and be blessed, Flip. Bye, guys.